I think we have to commend the great progress and great strides that are silently taking place in the South African immigration system. I believe that some of those changes are going to make the process more efficient and make it focused on adjudication and removing unnecessary repetitive requirements. If we look back, I think about 2 years ago, South African immigration issued a directive that removed 2 regulations, that removed 2 requirements for visa applications that are being done in South Africa. The first requirement was the removal of the radiology request, which means if an application is being made for a South African visa, before then you would have to do your chest x-ray, go to a radiologist to get your chest x-ray for TB, and then you attach that as part of the application. That was removed by a regulation and a directive issued about 2 years ago or so. And then in that same directive, they also removed the requirement of police clearance where you have been staying in South Africa, for at least 5 years. So you wouldn't have to produce a police clearance if your application would require a police clearance. Okay, before then, you would need a police clearance from every country that you have stayed since you turned 18 years and you have stayed for 12 months or longer. So that was a lot of administration hurdle. And if you have moved to South Africa and you've been staying in South Africa for the last 5 years, for the last 6 years, for the last 10 years, and now every time you want to make an extension or you want to change conditions, or when you eventually apply for permanent residence, a police clearance was needed. But then, in the spirit of efficiency, the Department of Home Affairs issued a directive that says, look, if you have been in South Africa for the past 5 years, there's no need for you to apply for a police clearance from your home country. Okay, so that again, increased the efficiency by making the application lean and focused on the core business. Now, recently, I think a day ago or 2 days ago, then the Minister of Home Affairs issued another directive. Okay, this is now July 2026, and this directive has now removed the requirement of the medical report. Remember, the radiology was already removed, but you have to be careful. You have to understand it. What has been removed is that the BI form for the medical report, where you go to your doctor, it is no longer a requirement when you are applying onshore, which means within South Africa. Okay, so if you're applying within South Africa, whether for a temporary visa, whether for permanent residence, you don't need to produce a medical report anymore. It is no longer required, which is a great thing because, the person has already been in the country. They have done their medical report before they got their first visa. So that is great efficiency. And then secondly, if you are applying from outside South Africa, your temporary residence visa will still need a medical report because that is your first application. So you're still going to need your medical report. However, for a permanent residence, whether you're applying it within South Africa or you're applying it outside South Africa, you don't need a medical report. I think the minister is really getting some critical advice in terms of reducing the requirements that are redundant and repetitive, and rather focus on the core business of the application, which is eligibility and compliance. So this is a great change, and I think it is already in effect now. So now this brings the removal of requirements to 3. They've removed the radiology report, they've removed the requirement of a police clearance within South Africa, and they've now removed the requirement of the actual medical report when applying within South Africa and under the conditions that I've explained. This is great progress, and the immigration system has definitely shown possibility of improvement in efficiency.
Now, if you're a multinational company that relies on the movement of workforce, to South Africa and also, inbound and outbound, then you have to hear this. You see, South Africa offers a unique ecosystem that allows multinational companies to have a continuous flow of employees between the branch in South Africa and the branch overseas. There are several visa options that can be tailor-made to suit each and every option. For example, if you are having a project in South Africa, let's say you're just coming for project-backed work, you don't need to stay there for long, maybe 3 to 6 months. There's a visa that allows you to come and work on a 6-term, on a 3 months, or extendable up to 6 months. And that allows you to conduct your project work without the heavy workload of papers, heavy workload of compliance, and having full work rights in South Africa for the project while you remain employed by the company overseas. Also, if you want to send an employee for secondment up to 4 years, there is an option that allows you to send your staff to South Africa and be able to transfer skills under the skills transfer plan and work in South Africa up to 4 years. And during that assignment, the foreign national is able to bring their family, they're able to bring their children, they can attend school in South Africa. And this is one of the most unique intra-company transfer permit that I've seen as compared to many other jurisdictions. It is unique and it gives you liberty, elasticity, and flexibility to continue operations in South Africa. And there are instances where the expert has exhausted the 4 years, but maybe the skills transfer plan has not been fully implemented. There are ways to negotiate and arrange options for the assignee to come back to South Africa. If you are falling into that position and you want to engage, understand what are the trends, what are the issues happening right now in the immigration trends that can affect global mobility to South Africa, then please get in touch with us and we'll be able to break it down for you, lay out even the incoming legislative changes if they have any impact on global mobility. Cheers.